Hi, Alex here, and today I'm going to show you how to build an electromagnet using some of the materials from your S4 Science delivery box. Now, we've all seen magnets stuck to our fridge, but what exactly is an electromagnet? Well, you might have guessed it, it's literally an electric magnet. When we pass an electrical current through a coiled wire, it generates a magnetic field, and hey presto, you've got yourself an electromagnet. Electromagnets need electricity to work, so why would we ever use them over normal magnets? Isn't it wasteful to use electricity to power a magnet when you could just use a normal one? They have two main properties that make them more useful than normal magnets in certain situations. First one is that they are temporary, so they can be turned off. This makes them really helpful for picking things up and putting them down, especially in industry when you need to pick up and put down heavy metal objects easily. The second property is that electromagnets are changeable. Increasing the current makes a stronger magnet, and decreasing the current makes a weaker magnet. And this makes them really useful in all kinds of everyday items that we use every day, things like loudspeakers or headphones. Increasing and decreasing the electrical current running through them makes them move back and forwards as the magnet gets stronger and weaker, and that's what makes the sound. And it also makes them really useful in all kinds of very complex machines, such as MRI machines or electric cars. So now you know how electromagnets work and why they're useful, let's have a go at building one. Now, you don't need to be an experienced electrical engineer to build an electromagnet. You can actually make a very simple one using regular household objects. And we've actually supplied some for you in your S4 Science delivery box. In your Science delivery box, you should be able to find a 9-volt battery, a battery clip, an iron nail, a staple, and copper wire. To start, we're just going to unwind our copper wire because that'll make it easier to work with. And we'll just make sure that there's no kinks or anything in it or knots that have formed. And then we're going to coil the wire around our nail. And we're going to make sure that we leave a few centimeters at the end, and we're going to leave a few centimeters at the other end as well once we finish, just to make sure that there's space for it to attach to the clip later. We're going to coil it round, and we're going to try and make the coils as tight as possible, and we're going to work our way along the nail, and every now and then we're just going to push the coils back down so that they're as close together as possible and as close to their head end as possible. And we're just going to keep doing this, and we're going to go up to around 3/4 of the way along for now. It's really important that you try to ensure that there aren't any gaps in between your coils and that they really are pushed as close together as possible. I know I've coiled the wire to around 3/4. As you can see, this end of the wire is a lot longer than this one, but don't worry about that because we'll do some stuff with that later. But for now, we're going to attach the ends of each wire to the battery clip. So first, we're just going to take one end. It doesn't matter which end. The easiest way to do that is to just put them together so that they cross over slightly, and then we're going to just twist. And now we're going to do the same with the other end. Same goes for that. We're just going to put them next to each other, and we're just going to twist them together. The last thing to do is to just pop the clip, make sure it lines up. You want the small end and the big end, and you're just going to pop them to the corresponding end on the battery clip. So you want small to go to big and vice versa. So you're just going to clip that on top, and provided everything's worked out, you have now made a completely working electromagnet. So now you've made your electromagnet, we can try it out. So what I've got here is the staple from your Science delivery box, and we're just going to test it out by taking our electromagnet. I'm just going to push the coils back down just to make sure they're as tight as possible. I'm going to hold those down, and when I'm using it, we're just going to be careful that the two ends of the copper wire don't touch each other, because if they do, the electricity is going to skip our electromagnet and it won't work. So I'm just going to try and pick it up, being very careful here, and there we are, see, picks up. So we know our electromagnet's working, but it's quite weak. Now we know that our electromagnet works, we can have a play around with it. So this experiment gives you loads of opportunity to increase or decrease the number of coils. You can increase them just by adding more, or decrease them just simply by pulling them off.
Thanks for watching. I hope you've had some fun making and testing your electromagnet.